Hello guys and welcome back. So let's go refine our texture a bit more. So one thing I want to change is the color of the shoelace. I think it's too bright. So I'm gonna go make it a bit darker because it stands out too much. So I'm gonna go look for the lace here, right? And then I'm gonna open it. Okay, you can see the fabric neat sweater, and go down here, you can see it's using a material just like the one we made. You can see the parameters, right? You can change the fabric color also over here. So I'm gonna make it something a bit more darker. Okay, and maybe more like a brownish kind of color. Okay, that feels a bit better. And also this leather piece, maybe I can give it a different color. So down here to the leather black, I still want it to be close to that, maybe just a little bit brighter color wise. So I'm gonna create a new, or that's the base color, right? I can create a new layer above it. So Control C, Control V to copy paste. Now for this new base color, okay, I'm gonna change the color to be something brighter. Okay, and then I'm gonna give it a mask. So add a black mask. And then I'm gonna use a color selection here. And then I can pick color and just pick that. Right, now I have this part to be a little bit brighter. Okay, so just to add some depths to that. Maybe I can make that part also like that. So let's try that. I'll go look for the pick color and just pick that piece. Okay, now we're having like slightly different colors. So if you're not sure how to use color, you just use lesser color, but you do more variation on those value, right? So to make them brighter or darker instead of trying to make all those different colors. Okay, let's see, maybe just a little bit darker. Because if it's too bright, then it feels pale. But I still wanted to be able to distinguish. Yeah, I think that's okay. For the base, I think the color here are really close now, so maybe I can change the rubber. So look for the bottom rubber here, and let's see what we have. Rubber base, right? And base color can make it a little bit darker also. Right, so that way it's a bit different. Or maybe that's making them even closer. So maybe I make it brighter and see how that looks like. Alright, that feels cool. Alright, then we have this really cool bottom because of thanks to the live boolean feature. Right, it's not that easy to do in previous versions. There are workflows, but I think live boolean actually solves that problem nicely. Okay, so I think we can also try to use some of the smart generators to add some more variation to the top of those folding to make the folding to be a little bit more visible. Okay, although I don't think that's super necessary. I think it's okay, but yeah, just to try it, right? So I'm gonna go create another fill layer on top of the base color inside of the leather black. Okay, I can call this guy leather high ground color, And then I'm gonna change it to a brighter color. I don't want to override anything else. Maybe the roughness, that would be fun. Or not. Let's just do color here. And I'm gonna give it, go back to the color. Okay. So I'm gonna give it a black mask. And right click on it, I'm gonna give it a generator. Okay, in the generator, I'm gonna click on it and choose a mask editor here. Okay, this mask editor will allow me to build a mask based on the various mesh information baked. Okay, it's using all the baked map here. So far, what it's using is basically the curvature. If you lower down the curvature, you can see it's not doing anything, right? Let's make the graph big and we get the property out, and let's take a look at this. Okay, so this is a whole list of the things you can tweak. So one thing we were having earlier is this curvature, right? And you can see what it does. Okay. So now if you open the curvature, you can see there are a whole lot of more sliders, but don't get too intimidated. If you drag those sliders down one by one, so they're all off, then you turn this sharp one on, you can see it's basically representing the very sharp top area, right? The reason it's also doing the top area is because the mode is edges. You can change that to crevices. Now you're doing the inside. Okay, and you can do both. Okay, and you can do the unprocessed, which is just the curvature map. But I'm gonna do the edge, right? Because that's the high ground. And so the fun one, if you lower down the sharp and you drag up the fun one, it's just a little bit more blurry. The soft one, you can see more blurry, not blurry, but actually wider. That's what it is, right? Large, big. Okay, so I don't need those large and big ones. Maybe I just wanted to have a little bit of a, high ground to be a bit brighter, to make the folding a bit more visible, right? But this is too generic, right? It's making all the high ground all brighter. That may not be accurate. And that's when those textures come into play. If you go down to the image input, not just those baked maps are here, but you also have two options to import two textures, and you have the settings for the two textures. Okay, so I'm gonna go to texture here and look for a grunge map. Generally speaking, grunge maps are okay to use, but they're also quite recognizable, so you don't want to use them in a very full extent. You don't want to use some more generic ones. So I'm gonna pick something that has a quite even black and white distribution. Maybe that one. Okay. All right. And then it's not doing anything. That's because the texture is having zero opacity. Texture here, right? So if I drag that up, you can see now there is some different, right? It's breaking it up. Okay. If you want to see what's exactly going on, you go to the layers, you alt click there, and that's going to give you a preview of the mask generated. Okay. And you can go back to the mask generator, and we can try to, don't want it to dock it. Can try to tweak it again. So this time maybe we can take a look at the texture, right? You can see we're doing overlay, and we can change the scale of that texture. So we're breaking up, but not like in a very big way, just smaller breakups here and there, right? Can change the contrast. Grunge map has another benefit. It does allow you to change some of the things inside of it. Okay. All right. So with some grunge map, we can break this up so that it's not taking over. It's not applied everywhere. It's going to be a more or less multiplied, right, by this. All right. Cool. Now we can alt click on this. Actually, just click on the color here to go back. Okay. All right. Now we have some enhanced high ground. And we can also do the same thing to make the low ground more visible, but that's just something we can do, and I don't really think I need to do that, or at least this is a little bit too extreme. So I'm gonna lower that down. And we gave it some color tint, because those are kind of maybe they're kind of like some scratched out surface. I can maybe try to turn on head and lower down the head, so that they're getting scratched out. Right, that looks a little bit interesting. But I don't really want to make a show that is broken. Right? I want to just make a generic looking show that is not damaged that much or destroyed. So yeah, just some color. Okay, cool. All right, so I think that's gonna be it for some refinement we can do. So I personally don't like to add a whole lot of you know, imperfections, because we're not making like a scratched metal piece or something like that, although it's really good on doing that. I kind of wanted to keep it to a moderate level, right? So it's having some imperfection, but it's okay, right? It's doing fun. It can still be weird. It's not from a post, you know, it's not gonna be from a game that is like the end of the world scenario kind of thing, right? Something that is normal. Okay, cool. So I think that's it for the texturing stage. And then next time, in the next video, we're gonna bring this eventually to a rendering package. Okay, see you next time.